Sons of Anarchy, Season 6, Episode 7. First and foremost, I want to apologize to my SOA subscribers and anybody who watches my SOA reviews, amongst other things. As I've said in other videos, I've been so busy with work and different activities this week, like y'all don't even know. So I barely had time and energy to do reviews. As you can see, barely anything's come out this week. Now with this episode, I mean, not just because it's late, but also just y'all have no idea what I'm feeling right now. Like, y'all don't even know. Like, I was on the verge of crying, but now I think I might cry in this video. And let me be real, I rarely cry. I don't cry often, okay? When I was younger, I rarely cried. I mean, seriously, rarely cried. As I've gotten older, different emotions have hit me. There are times, man. Oh my gosh. Y'all bear with me. I'm dealing. Y'all see in the thumbnail it says a roller coaster of emotions. Okay, this episode was so raw, man. I was all over the place. I was so happy, and then I was just like, because this kind of like, this is that. Oh my gosh, SOA, man. SOA. That's all I can say. This episode 7. It hit home on so many different levels. So many different levels. Like, y'all have no idea. Like, it dealt with so many things, and it dealt with things I talk about, okay? It dealt with different things I believe in, and like, if you watch the episode, like, you would understand, man. You would understand this episode. Goodness. I'm sorry that I haven't even gone into the review like I usually do. It's 2.5 minutes in. I'm just dealing with these emotions. Alright, let me try to get through it. First and foremost, we see once again, at the beginning of the episode, we see, this time with the addition of Bobby. So I'm loving that Jax, Chibs, and Bobby are once again a united front. And I'm loving the position that Bobby's taking up, okay? And then we see, Tara doing her thing, Jim, everybody's kind of recovering and everything. So that was good. And then we transition over into, apparently they've, the club temporarily has set up shop in this, like, ice cream shop, candy shop, y'all get it? And, like, they were setting up the Reaper table and everything. And the old, the mayor, remember the one on, like, their pretty much first antagonist, the brother, y'all remember from, like, season 1, y'all remember this dude, he's still doing his thing, he's still the mayor, but apparently because of the nonsense that's going on, the bomb of TM, Telemaro, the clubhouse, and also, school shooting or whatever, and it looks like he's about to get axed in 3 months, and Jax, they gave a down payment on the ice cream shop, okay? So, it's a temporary place to stay. They'll see if they can rebuild a clubhouse and whatever. But also, apparently the old contract, I love how SOA brings back old elements. They don't just, throw that in the dust up. They even remind me of stuff I've forgotten. Apparently the mayor, because of Pope's death, that had repercussions, that had to slow the process. So they're not going to be able to get income from having the maintenance contracts on Charming Heights, I believe it was. So there's that, and Jack's not happy about that, but he's like, alright, whatever. But then we see, I love this because it talked about corporate politics, pretty much. Just watch the episode and you'll understand. I could talk all day in this video about corporate politics, but that's not even the big stuff. So we're moving on. We move to the back. They're having their, discussing business, and Jax has Bobby, back to this financial advisor role. He has him, treasurer role, has him lay out all the facts, all the financial whatever. Quinn, and the other two, West and a Latino dude, I can't believe I forgot his name. But all three of them, they're all voted in hands down. I was smiling so much because it was like a family thing. It's like welcome to the family kind of thing. So that really touched me. That really touched me deep inside my soul. It really, that sounds cliche. No, it really did, because I love brotherhood. I love when families, I love that aspect. It's one of the greatest blessings people can have in this life. It's one of the greatest gifts of God. No lie, straight up. One of the greatest gifts from the Father of creation. And then we see it with the prospect Rat Dog. I forget his actual name, but Rat Dog. The way they did him, though, man, they did him dirty. But then when Chip said, young brother, and Jax being sponsor said something, that was such a touching moment. Y'all you see that? This is a genuine smile. That's nothing fake. I was cheesing throughout that whole scene. I played that scene over like 3 times. I love that scene so much. And then moving on, I'm trying to remember because there actually was quite a bit of stuff that happened in this episode. Tara's doing her thing. She's trying to make moves in the shadows, in darkness, as King Light likes said. But anyway, she's making her moves. Unter, Wendy, and Doctor. I can never remember her name, but y'all know the redheaded doctor who's been with her since practically day one. Yeah, they all making their moves and trying to get the kids safe, as they call it. Oh, and the lawyer, Laura? Yeah, the lawyer chick. Yeah, for the club. So all them doing their thing. Then we go into a SOA. You know how they have pretty much, if not big direct plays to the club, there's always some way the club gets tied into something. But this time, it's like, before that, I gotta get how this was introduced. The tranny dude, Vincent, aka Venus, she, whatever, was whatever you want to call the person, that was the same person they dealt with back, because I remember now, because of the way Tig looked at it, I'm like, okay, that's the same person. Cool. I think back in season 2, she was introduced, however you want to say it, the training person. And then, Gemma tells Nero about the situation. And about this kid Joey, 15 years old, supposed nephew, turns out later son. Watch the episode, you'll understand. Okay, the young dude is with Venus's mother, Alice. And Nero's like, yo, tell Jax, please, for me, get that kid the hell out of there. Alice is bad, just bad, period. It pretty much on some evil vibe here, okay? Then Gemma, she gets Jackson in a different club, besides the 4 newbies, you would say, to Sam Crow. She gets the 6, and hold on, was Juice with them too? I can't remember if Juice was with them or not. But anyways, no, I don't think Juice was in this operation. Anyway, Venus explains the situation. He explains the backstory. Child porn. SOA went so raw in this episode. Like, it held no, but like this season ain't playing, yo. Y'all remember school shooting. Child porn. Y'all saw Jack's reaction. Like, child molestation. This is stuff I don't play with. I don't play with this. Raping children, child molestation. I don't play with rape, period. I've done a video on that. But child molestation, that's on a whole nother level. It's stuff I can't understand. I don't want to explode in this video. I just child porn, child molestation. This dude, I don't agree with certain people's sexualities and stuff, choices that, that to me, call it what you want. But you don't touch children. You don't abuse somebody because of the way they choose to conduct themselves, the way they live their life. You don't do. There's some things you just don't do. Especially. I mean, there's things that are wrong, and then there's just evil. I'm sorry if I seem to escalate, but that's just how it is. And it's like, you just don't. And so that whole situation broken down. That was like, dude, man. And I think I replayed that like 5 times. Just, I'm like, nah, that can't. Seriously, they taking it here. So, you know, everybody, Gemma, Jax, Chivs, Tig, of course, and Bobby, and I have to add this. Hold on, how'd it go? I'll deal with that scene. No, I'll deal with that scene after I deal with the meeting with August. So Jax and in the set, the was it all the club? I can't recall. Anyways, the main crew, Jax and the main crew, they meet up, and Chibs is at his side, VP, and Bobby. He says concierge. So Bobby's the official advisor. Yes. Bobby wasn't necessarily good at VP, but advisor, yes, that is Bobby. Yes. Yes, baby. Y'all don't even know, man. Y'all don't even know. Like, I don't dislike Bobby. It's just, that's his role. He's the advisor to Jax. He always has been. Okay. Since season 1, episode, if y'all remember. And, they're having a discussion. Jax is breaking down the situation with the IRA and, the Kings, and August understands partially because of racism and everything, and, Jax cuts Colin free and all that. And there was some good dialogue. Just watch it. There was some excellent dialogue. Just excellent dialogue. And they're saying, Jax, good job. You're learning this deal. You can't just be having bodies. You can't have bloodbaths. So excellent stuff. And then moving back into that situation, like this scene, I definitely at least watched 5 times. At least 5 times. When they went to the house and that conversation with Venus and Alice, and then using Lord Jesus, like, yo. Now, like I said, I don't agree certain lifestyles, certain sexual orientations, but still, that stuff right there is just straight up wrong. Okay? I'm not trying to tell people how to react, but that right there, that ugliness, just wrong. And that kid, the kid's drinking, and look, man, 15, look, I'm not, I ain't trying to incriminate, but, kids do, I understand, drink, but that whole scenario was just messed up. And then we went in the classic SOA with the shots, the chase. Venus, I'm like, whoa, this dude, when he shot out the window, I'm like, yo. But that whole sequence was classic SOA. They had to amp it up. That's just how SOA does. Amp up the drama. And then they get to they track down, they meet with Borowski, who had met with the DA and Roosevelt. So Roosevelt's still in a bind. He gave over Borowski, and we'll see what happens with that. We will. Borowski, he joins Jax. He finds out he joins Jax in the crew. That studio, and then those pictures on the wall, that crib, the drug kid. And y'all, I don't even have kids right now. I don't have children on my own, but still, it doesn't matter. It's like younger siblings, okay? The babies. That's like, I could be a father. You understand what I'm saying? I could be a dad. Child. And that, again, the conversation, Venus had with Alice, and Alice just going off, and Jax did, that shot. He stopped, Venus, but that Jax did what a lot of people, I think, would honestly want to do to people who do stuff like that. Like, I believe in the death penalty. If you were cold-blooded murder, if you were proven straight up without a questionable doubt, rape, especially child molesters, get them out of here. That's what I want. There is no business that you. I told y'all, man, there's so many emotions I'm feeling right now after this episode. It's like, yo, And then Venus breaks it down, talking about the cycle of hate that this kind of transformed him into this, to even change his sex. And it's like I'm just don't want my the lineage. I want the cycle to stop. I want the cycle to be broken. I want my son. I don't even necessarily want my son to find out. And eventually they send him away. Tay was there comforting. I'm sorry. This is one of the. I'm sorry if this review seems bad to y'all. It's just I'm trying to collect my thoughts while the emotions are running high. And then, that ending though, like all that with this terror drastic measures. Now I don't agree with what was done, but y'all know how I viewed about Jimla's shady past. Okay, sometimes you just gotta pay the piper. It was deceitful the way it went down, but Jimla is not. I don't feel really bad for her. I'm sorry. Because she's, she trying. You can't say she can be piloting and wash her hands clean. For those who don't know, that's an allusion to the scriptures, the Bible, where Jesus was an innocent man and Pilate washed his hands clean. She ain't Pilate, okay? Gemma has done some dirty stuff in the past, highly questionable stuff, okay? So it is what it is for now. We'll see what happens. Tara, do I agree with her? No, I don't agree with what she did because of how it's affecting Jackson. Y'all know Jackson's my dog, man. Jackson's my dog. Jackson is one of my favorite characters ever is. And so we'll see what happens with that. We will. Because she's still making moves, but I don't know. How it's going to end by the end of the season. We still have a good 5 or 6 episodes. Probably about 6 episodes. So we'll see. But, Gemma, she almost cost the kids their lives. So, just being real, let's put it all on the table. So there's that. Nero, they being real. The dude ain't no sex with that at the end of the episode. Just saying, Nero's right above that. Nero needs to get up out of there. That woman needs to stop her ass. She has no end. And I just hope Borowski don't try to betray Jax, because she has nothing on her. And that just shows the corruption and the legal system. There's just so much that happened in this episode. Really so much, man. But I also, even now, think about the loss of a child. And I have to talk about this. Now, y'all know I talked about the song before. But this time, I really, at first I was like, oh, yeah, with the song. But as it went on, and then I even went on YouTube, found that song that crashed this train. SOA, I thank y'all for helping me, introducing me to absolutely beautiful songs. That song, SOA. SOA. Yeah, do y'all even have to, do I really even have to give this review a grade? Easily. This is the easiest so far this season. It's probably one of the easiest perfect grades I can give. 10 out of 10. Easily. Shoot. Forget the 20 out of 10. This is beyond perfect. If it is my grades were perfect. This is the perfect of another sort. Let me just put it that way. It's just, when you get me this emotional, it's either, I get this emotion. This is a good kind of emotion. Even though it was bad stuff that the subject was stuff with, it was a good kind of emotional. Because I'm not angry. That's why it's a good. It's not a rage-filled emotion. It's like tear kind of emotion. So let's just put it that way. Unexpected one. Like, comment, subscribe. Sorry if I ran off from this video. I'm not surprised. Some videos I'm surprised about running off, but this one I'm not surprised, man. So it did it to me this time. It did it to me this time. In one episode, I'm not sure. I've had emotions. I've had roller coasters of emotions. But in one episode of a show, I don't think I've ever had this many roller coasters of emotions. It was just like up, that, up, that, up, that, up, that. I'm like, yo, on some heartbeats level stuff, man. Like on the beyond the craziest roller coaster in the world stuff. Like, so wrong. So wrong. Alright, y'all. Peace. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night.